What's up everyone and welcome back. Let's get started with Arman Tsarukyan versus Charles Oliveira, possibly headlining UFC 331. It's been weeks of back and forth about whether Arman will fight Charles Oliveira and whether it would be for the BMF belt. More rumors are now circulating that the fight is currently in the works and looks set to be the headliner. According to a new report from Red Corner MMA on X, according to our sources, a fight between Arman Tsarukyan and former UFC lightweight champion Charles Oliveira is in the works to headline UFC 331 in Los Angeles, California. You might remember that Joshua Van and Alexandre Pantoja were supposed to headline UFC 331 for the flyweight title. If these reports are correct, they would now be co-headlining. That makes it even weirder that the Arman Oliveira fight wouldn't be for the BMF belt. Why the UFC chose not to give Arman a shot at the BMF title is still unclear, but it doesn't look like that will happen. We'll keep you updated on any further news regarding the event. Speaking of Arman, in a new interview, he was asked how his wife reacts to him flirting with Nina on camera. Here's what he said. "Well, it's a show. We're making a show, a series, and I'm doing my job. She's doing hers. People believe anything, even though none of it is real. My family isn't involved in my work. What I do on social media is strictly business. I made it clear that no one should interfere with my work. It makes no difference what I'm doing or who I'm filming with." It sounds like Arman has strict rules about his personal life and work. At the end of the day, the collabs have been lucrative. Arman was just spotted on a Lamborghini yacht a few days ago, which is serious money even for rental. Arman was also spotted yesterday competing at a Hyrox event. For those who don't know, Hyrox is an indoor fitness race that combines 8 kilometers of running with 8 functional workout stations designed for all fitness levels. People were calling him out for doing almost everything except fighting in the UFC. Sidequest Arman for a reason. But if the reports are true, he has his next fight booked and is probably preparing for camp. In their potential rematch, who do you think wins? Arman or Charles? Michael Morales has no faith in Ian Garry beating Islam Makhachev. The welterweight title picture had too many contenders and directions for a while. A few weeks ago, we finally got word that Islam would fight Ian Garry. Morales had been the other big name in the mix and even posted photos with Hunter Campbell while saying he had confirmation he was next. But the UFC went with Garry. Morales recently spoke with Danny Segura from MMA Junkie on Abimos MMA. Asked about the matchup, Morales said he sees a 0% chance for Garry. Zero chance. You might not believe it, but the card at the White House, I predicted every fight. I don't see Ian with many chances. It would have to be a brutal shot that stops Makhachev. I'm 100% going with Makhachev. So no, Ian, definitely not. We already know Islam Makhachev's plan. He's done it all his life. He's going to strike and go for the takedown. He has great control on the ground. I think the fight spends the entire 5 rounds on the ground, or he's going to finish. We all know how they fight. UFC 330 is now just a week away. Who do you guys see winning that fight? Islam Makhachev himself recently appeared on the Game Set Paddle podcast. He talked about being beatable, but stressed that because of his preparation, no one can outwork him. I just always tell, somebody, people, fighters can beat me, but who can beat me? Who training more than me? But I know nobody training more than me. That's why I have, mentally I'm ready, physically I'm ready, and I can fight with anybody. One of Islam's lifelong teammates, basically his brother at this point, Usman Nurmagomedov, competed over the weekend in the final fight of his PFL contract. There's been a lot of talk about Usman potentially joining the UFC. After UFC Belgrade, Dana White had nothing but smiles when asked about it. Nothing is official yet, but if the boss is smiling like that, something may be cooking. Demetrius Johnson recently urged the UFC to sign and pay Usman whatever he wants before the PFL MVP merger happens. If I was Dana, I would pay Usman whatever he wants to take him away from the PFL merger because it's, you're stealing a star from their organization. And there's a whole family right there. There's Khabib Nurmagomedov, there's Abubakar Nurmagomedov, there's Islam Makhachev, and there's Umar Nurmagomedov. And there's the coaches and the team. So I like the position that Usman is in. Usman is currently 22-0 and competes at lightweight. If he joins the UFC, they could throw a big name at him right away. Maybe someone like Ilia Topuria, given the bad blood with Makhachev. Money is one part of any deal, but as a PFL champion, he might want more. Names like Topuria, Arman Tsarukyan, or even Paddy Pimblett could come up in negotiations for a debut. If he stays with PFL after the merger, it could limit the names he faces and affect his legacy. Do you want to see Usman in the UFC? In the main event, Uros Medic put Daniel Rodriguez away in under 30 seconds of the first round. Dana White was there and said, "I don't know how you could win any more impressive than he did. The first shot pretty much knocked him out. He's got the most first-round KOs in the division's history, the longest string of KOs in the division, third longest first-round KO string in the sport. He is definitely headed in the right direction." Daniel Rodriguez posted on Instagram, "I loaded up on the jab and he beat me to the punch. Happens, I guess. Regardless, I'm proud of myself for overcoming all that I have this past year. I was way out of shape when I got out of prison. I'm going to be in way better shape next time." Medic said he's ready to cook the rest of the division and called out Leon Edwards. Next, probably Leon Edwards if he makes himself available. "He is ranked where I want to be ranked because that puts me closer to where I want to be. And that is with the belt around my waist." Kevin Holland has shown interest in a rematch with Rodriguez at Noche UFC for his 30th fight. Holland lost the first meeting by unanimous decision and reportedly helped bail Rodriguez out of jail. Jan Blachowicz failed to snap his 4-fight losing streak and was stopped by Navajo Sterling after eating a hard right hand and elbows. Blachowicz, 43, did not remove his gloves after the fight, suggesting he needs time to decide his future. Sterling improved to 11-0 and called for Khalil Rountree or Paulo Costa next. He posted, "So grateful to share the cage with an absolute legend." Blachowicz simply said of the cut on his face, "It is what it is." Another one for the collection. Bogdan Grad snapped a 2-fight losing streak, but the win is heavily questioned. Late in round 2, while working an arm triangle, Denis Buzukija appeared to tap Grad's leg, and referee Jason Herzog stopped it. Replays and fan reaction on X strongly suggest it was not a tap. Buzukija was pushing the leg and had his arms locked. Choke wasn't even in. Grad said afterward, "I got tired fast. I didn't let him take 16 years of work, my place in the UFC. I'm here to stay." Dana reaffirmed the UFC still wants to go to Spain despite Toporia's recent loss. "It's never been easy, but we're going to figure it out." He also revealed he recently blocked 3 MMA media accounts from his algorithm. Lerone Murphy hinted at fighting at UFC 333 in Abu Dhabi in October. Gene Silva is instead fighting Yair Rodriguez at Noche UFC. Dana White responded positively when asked about signing Usman Nurmagomedov after his PFL deal ended. Javier Mendez floated potential debut opponents including Paddy Pimblett, Arman Tsarukyan, or others in the top 5. Jake Paul addressed criticism over Khabib putting the belt on Usman, saying he asked Khabib to do it. He also traded barbs with Josh Hokett after claiming no NFL player could last 2 rounds in a boxing ring. Hailey Cowan announced her retirement after a body shot loss at Belgrade. The planned Arman Tsarukyan versus Charles Oliveira bout at UFC 331 will be 5 rounds but will not be for the BMF title, according to reporter Leo Guimarães. The UFC initially planned 3 rounds, then changed it. Joshua Van versus Alexandre Pantoja is confirmed for the same card. Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes was postponed. Arman made his stance clear. "If there is no BMF number, it's not that interesting. But if the UFC says that I need to fight so that I'm next for the belt, of course I will take this fight." Meanwhile, Arman stayed active on the grappling scene, submitting Ankit Bayampuria quickly via armbar after a couple of takedowns and a suplex at a Hype FC event in Armenia. That's all the major news from UFC Belgrade and beyond. Drop your thoughts in the comments, especially on the referee stoppage and whether Arman should take Oliveira without a belt. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back tomorrow with more MMA updates.